Welcome to my channel where we simplify technical analysis so you can trade in the direction of the trend. Today we're going to focus on Solana and why the recent update that we did is more than likely no longer valid. And we're probably going to get one more move to the upside in this zone over here. And we're going to break it down based on logic, objectivity, and not getting emotional about this very fact. If you get value from today, like today's video, subscribe. It's a way of supporting the channel and I really do appreciate it. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you're taking advantage of my free membership area. It's in the link below. It's a updated Bitcoin report. And when there's new information with Bitcoin that's relevant to the markets, we do a video update. You get an email. So it's very, very timely. It will look like this. Just subscribe. It's free and you'll get a lot of value. So now let's just look at this with Solana. So this part here, I'm actually going to just delete this part here. Let's get rid of this stuff down here for now. And I'm going to tell you why. So when markets unfold, and Solana clearly has unfolded in a nice 5-wave move to the upside. And more often than not, markets tend to move in 5s and 3s on the way up and the way down. And if you can understand buying and selling psychology, all of a sudden you have a massive edge on the market. So what we were anticipating with Solana, let me just take it back a few days, because when we did the last video, it was around here, give or take. It was around here, give or take. So this is the information that we would have had at the time of the last video, what it was looking like. And the high probability outcome at this point was that we've had a 5-wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've had the first leg, what looks like the first leg of a correction down, which we call a wave A. It looks like we're making a very clean A, B, C of a B. And then the higher probability outcome is that we're going to have a continuation to the downside to make a wave C. So that was the thesis. That was the business plan. We were actually on a short trade for this particular outcome. But we never know what's actually going to happen. And there's no way of knowing. You just have to be in the market, have your capital exposure, where it's 1, 2, or 3% that you're risking to find out if you're right, and then let the market unfold. And as the price action unfolds, it reveals to you how the crowd is feeling, how the psychology of the market is, and what's very likely to occur next. So as I unfold this data, so if we just unfold this data here, and I just do one bar at a time. So at this point, it still looks good. At this point, we were short. So we're like, okay, good. At this point, very point, you know, the markets, we believe it's a B, C structure of a wave B, and we anticipate the move down. We've got this initial move to the downside, and it looks like a potential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 could unfold. However, that's not what happened. What happened instead was the price was a bit sloppy, and it was overlapping, like it's overlapping back into itself. That's a sign of weakness. And if we compare it to this movement to the downside, this is pretty impulsive, pretty clean. There's no real congestion areas, whereas here, it's very different. It was almost like it's just overlapping itself. And that's a corrective structure. And a corrective structure means that, or more often than not, we're going to get a new high, that a new high is going to be made. So we had to make that decision to get out of this trade risk-free. And let's just unfold the data. And this is where we are right now. I know it's a bit detailed, but this applies to like macro dynamics when you're really looking at the macro picture, but also when you zoom in on day-to-day data as well. So what I'm seeing is likely to occur is that we're probably going to get one more high. Another clue is this, and I'm just going to take the data back again. Let's just take it back to over here, because this is the practical element of trading, and we just don't know. So when we took the short trade, or we did the last video, the market momentum, the momentum of Solana was in the ideal position to support a high and a follow through to the downside. And again, as we unfold the data, we didn't even take out this low over here. So as we unfold the data, look at the momentum. It's the blue and the red line. And when they go to the lower area, which is where they are now, and we haven't had that follow through, we have to be neutral to the market, even if our bias is short, because we want to short the market. So now it's looking like, this is looking like a correction. Something else is occurring. And even this low over here didn't get exceeded. So it's like, okay, what else could be happening? So let's just unfold the data a few more days. We got a bullish reversal on both of the momentums. Look at the dashboard. We created this dashboard down here where it now says the weekly, which is the higher degree time frame, and the daily is bullish. We got this over here and this over here. So this is now indicating from a momentum perspective, not only that we've got this corrective kind of pattern, but the momentum is also indicating that we're probably going to see some type of move to the upside. So then we have to just reevaluate and say, okay, what else could be happening? Is this overall a corrective structure still, or is it impulsive? Well, what do you think? Well, when we look at it, and if we draw it out, it looks corrective. Why? Because this price to the downside here, this part here, has closed into this range over here. This range over here. So that's a sign that is a correction. Now, what that means, so if we just interpret this and how we can use this information in a practical manner to help us make money from the markets, well, it indicates that this high is still unlikely to get exceeded. It can get exceeded, but unlikely. And we're probably going to get some type of complex correction. And the most common and most typical is an A, B, C. And this now looks like a wave D or potential wave D. We have to put a question mark there. We're putting it a follow through for one more move to the upside as a wave E. So the macro thesis still holds unless this high gets exceeded. If the high of, I think it's $27.22 or thereabouts, if that gets exceeded, we may need to reevaluate. But what's likely to occur with Solana? Again, notice that we're keeping it very objective, very mechanical, non-emotional. We're just reading the market psychology. And what I want to do here is I just want to bring up the typical retracement zones. So we still have these three typical retracement zones. We can see them over here. We can see the first one has been exceeded. The second one has been tested. And it's the third one, the red line, the 78.6% that I want to pay special attention to. So let's just bring that up over here. So we're likely to see this exceed to that level. We're talking about the $24.80 level, thereabouts. There's a few other things we can also do, but I just want to keep it really, really simple to say, okay, with Solana, the 5 is still really clear in terms of the 5-wave move to the upside. This still looks like a wave 1 or A. I'm going to write this as a 1 or A. Put a question mark here because it's not confirmed yet. It's not confirmed. This still looks like it's forming a 2 or B. More than likely is actually a wave B. And we're still in position to get our A, B, just a complex correction of a wave B, and then a follow through to the downside. So that opinion still holds from what I can see, because this part here is impulsive, this part is corrective. The momentum suggests the next few days we're probably going to see another high, and then we're looking for almost like identical to what we were anticipating before, but now over here. So the next few days, don't be overly surprised if Solana makes one more new local high above this high over here. And more often than not, it will be some type of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave structure. That will be ideal. But don't be fooled. Because of this corrective nature of the overlapping wave structure, it's still highly probable that we're going to get a follow through to the downside. And what price and time ratios? Well, let's just quickly check that out right now. Let's just do, by the way, make sure you do check out the Bitcoin report. I do regular updates. You also get an invite into my private Telegram community. We do some really cool stuff. We do some stuff on the weekends. We do some workshops, and we really look at a few different markets. So do make sure because Bitcoin, what's happening with Bitcoin right now also gives us a clue. I use Bitcoin not only to trade, as in trade in Bitcoin, but we can also use it as a macro indicator for altcoins like Solana, because there is a correlation between the two. And we do discuss that as well. So the latest one was done a couple of days ago. It's in the link below. Do check it out. And feel free to share it as well. So what we're going to do, just what we did the last time, if you remember, we're just going to do a quick retracement The three ratios are still relevant, 50, 62, and 78.6. Just so you know, that's the most typical and common. 50% doesn't really apply no more. And we can, it's not always good practice to do it, but let's just say we are confident and we say, right, the wave 2 or B is likely to hit this point. Then we'll do this nearer the time again to get the accurate data. But what we're going to anticipate is something like this. And then this will give us a clue that Solana is likely to get to $13.68 thereabouts. But again, we'll let the market unfold, let the market speak to us. And if we do get a 5-wave structure to the upside, we're currently long on this at the moment. And we will look to exit at this point if this occurs. And hear my words, if. It is an operative if, because we can never know. But the momentum is pointing up. This pattern structure is corrective. We've had this little swing high exceeded, so that indicates that this low is likely to hold. This high is likely to get exceeded, and we are likely to see a wave 2 or B. As long as this high of the wave 5 does not get exceeded. There are cases that it's okay for it to get exceeded, but if it gets exceeded with a lot of confidence, then we just need to reevaluate and something else could be occurring, and we might need to look at some alternatives. And there are a couple of alternatives, but right now, big clue is this overlapping wave structure that tells us that's very unlikely. Never impossible, but very unlikely. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let's finish on a quote. Today's quote is from Socrates, and he says the following: "The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new." I did a lot of work on neuroscience and about the unconscious mind, and that we operate 95% unconsciously. And 95% of our thoughts are on loop. And whatever gets most of your attention is forming your life. That's what neuroscience shows. It's been proven beyond doubt over decades worth of research. And that's what I believe Socrates is saying here. The secret of change is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old, because if you're fighting the old, which is not good, I mean, if it's great, then that's okay. But if it's not good and you're fighting the old, you're reinforcing the old and bringing more of that into your life. Whereas if you're building the new and as a positive new, and you're focusing on it and finding to ingrain that into your unconscious, you'll find it becomes more effortless action moving forward. So there you go, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. We'll see how Solana unfolds, and we'll probably do an update to see if we do get a new high, a new wave 2 or B, and then we can look to short Solana. So I am waiting for that as well, even though short term we are long at the moment.